What separates businesses that grow quickly from those that struggle?
Honestly, product market fit. I would say whether you built your product to fit a problem that already exists, or if you build a cool product and then wondering who has this problem.
I'm guessing bad products that do marketing well, they probably make more money than a good product with no marketing.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's really upsetting and sad because people come up with really, really good products. They don't invest in marketing. Like, that's the challenge where you say, I think people will just find us because this is so good. We've cracked it.
They automatically assume just photos and videos just to post on social media. But I feel a lot of people don't understand the strategy side to it as well.
Yeah, and I think most people mix up marketing and advertising a lot. So that too. So everything is, promotion. But big part of marketing is building trust. It's finding partnerships and creating narratives. So it's not all social media posts and billboards, Hiring one person to do everything and expecting them to be able to is a common mistake I see. Very, very common. Most people call me at the 6 month point and say, I don't think our marketing is very good. And I go, I actually think they are.
Yeah.
But you're asking them to do
Too much.
technical reporting, analytics, but also be the most creative selves they can be, but also do the strategy, do the execution, and not drop the ball on any of these. So this is like 4 things already that you have to focus on. No human is going to be able to multitask through that.
SEO or paid ads?
Paid ads. Because, again, working in B2B tech startups specifically, if you're trying to get in front of the right people at the right time, this is a delivery mechanism that can be, launched, I guess, where SEO for me at those early stages, super important to put that groundwork in place. However, it doesn't usually, it's a long-term play. And often we're looking for getting off the ground first, and then we can have that long-term play.
Guys, welcome back to the Viral Podcast. Today, I'm joined by a marketing specialist, Erika. Thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Pleasure to be here.
You're the founder of Oinus Marketing. Briefly, can you explain to me what Oinus Marketing is?
So we help B2B tech startups get their marketing off the ground. So we kind of operate as your external in-house demand generation team and really want to stick quite close to the companies. So instead of, if you imagine an agency, they might be more around that, you need to brief them, they execute, sure, and they add marketing value. But what I really want to do is understand your business, your buyer. How do we make you successful as a company, as a startup? And I think that's slightly the difference where our services are.
Yep. And take me back to just before Oinus Marketing. What was your role in marketing?
So for a decade before starting my own company, I've been doing a demand generation in multiple tech startups, all the way from Onfido, Product Board, Tinybird. So these are varying from digital identity innovators to engineering companies to big unicorns or just got to unicorn on product side of things, and voice AI. So across the board, industry agnostic, as I like to call myself, but all kind of scaling startups, and the scaling part is really what I love. I love when we go fast.
Yeah.
And that's the high I always look for in even helping companies now.
Oh, that's great. And how long have you been in marketing industry for?
Probably. I keep saying over 10 years, and at some point I probably stopped counting.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't study marketing. So I've gone from learning it myself. While I was in uni, I got this internship to do marketing for free. I didn't get paid for it, but I was so determined to learn it, like actually on the ground instead of from the books. So I've learned everything myself, and obviously got then very lucky to get to the right companies from that. But learned it all from unpaid internships first. Any foot in the door.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to take the opportunity when it comes.
Oh, absolutely.
So 10 years ago, I feel like because of where social media has come, where technology has come, marketing was different around 10 years ago. How different was marketing to how it is now?
It was and it wasn't. Because I think good marketing really goes back to knowing your prospect, right? Or your potential customer, right? So the question isn't what tactics do you use? Yes, the tactics have changed. We have now cool toys to play with, and you don't have to, take so long. So you can be faster, but actually good marketing hasn't changed. It's still around, okay, what do we tell the person? Who is the person? Who do they trust? Where they spend time? How do we get in front of them? How do we get their attention? How do we get them to trust us? And how do we get them to pick up the phone and get in touch with us? So that's never changed. So actually, it's just the tactics. It's the way that we do things and making us faster and possibly more leaner. Like a marketer now can do much more than before. You were like, well, I need at least 3 people.
Yeah.
Now you say, well, actually, I think I can cover these 3 roles that used to exist.
Yeah, by yourself now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or
to an extent.
shorter
Yeah. And yeah, to an extent as well.
You've worked across AI, SaaS, and cybersecurity and tech startups. What have those experiences taught you?
I think my favorite learning probably for myself is that there is similarities. Everyone thinks they're slightly different. So again, going back to kind of like, how do you get in front of the right person? What do they care about? What is their pain point? Can we match to that? All of these things. But also that you can learn about so many new industries. My favorite thing is I love new industries and I love new companies, and I love hearing how they're trying to solve a problem that I didn't possibly know even existed. Because often, especially in B2B, in B2C, you see often these problems in your own life.
Yeah.
But in B2B, if you're not in that specific area yourself, you then don't experience the challenges. But once you find out about them, you just go, this is how it all links up and this is how it impacts my life. Because you can see we're pushing this technology, for example, into, I don't know, banking. And suddenly you are the banking customer yourself, and you can see it. You kind of know it's in the background, nobody else would, but you're like, that's just solved that problem I used to have. So I think so many learnings on personal and, of course, professional level too.
When you started Oinus Marketing, your own business, was it scary for you?
Yes and no. I think having surrounded myself with people who've started so many companies, but also I was lucky, but I come from an entrepreneurial family. So I think they've just been waiting for that to happen. I think my dad just said, oh, finally, when I decided to go out on my own. So he'd just been waiting, and I'd been resisting this. And he's like, and our family, you will end up there. So I think I have much more than other people support of the family and encouragement of people around me on saying, keep going. Nobody's questioning whether this is a good idea. Everyone says, you know what, it's tough. And we've all been there, or like, we've been there. It's been tougher for other people. Like, here's a story. And you just go, yeah, things are not bad. If you feel a little bit stressed or, so I think I've been very lucky to have the right encouragement and right people around me. And I try to carry on surrounding myself with those people who say, keep going.
Did you have anyone in a similar field to you in your family or no?
No, totally different fields. B2C, much more on the kind of like the traditional companies, gardening, soil company, soil delivery, hotel, money exchange, a whole host of things. Like I said, very entrepreneurial family. But yeah, nothing in software or tech. So that's something I found myself, I guess, throughout my career.
When you started your business, did you feel like you found a gap in the industry?
I think I found a pain point that has been solved in multiple ways. And those are all good solutions. I just think my experience and my love for specifically for tech startups is hopefully finding a little bit more helpful point. So when I went on my own, I started as fractional marketer. I was like, great, I want to be involved in even more startups. And could I help startups at scale, I guess, in certain way, instead of, being an employee in one startup at a time. Yeah. That's exciting. However, when I started, I felt like, am I really helping? Because I'm now doing a couple of days a week. on one startup as a senior person, not the cheapest, and saying, okay, well, you're getting the strategy, but because you can't really not do execution, like something needs to go out right. So now if I go and do execution, our time on the strategy will suffer. But if and you're paying for very expensive execution now, but if I do strategy, nothing goes out. Or if I only do strategy, if I spend time as I should on it. So you're really like just doing part-time marketing now and you have part-time headcount. I'm like, that's not helping when startups, especially around that kind of like when they've raised funding or whatever pivotal point for them is to say, we need to now go fast. And that's what I want to solve. I was like, I don't think I'm helping, but you're not ready to get headcount. And even if you get one marketer, you still find the same problem, by the way. But now you just had part-time, but still one marketer full-time wouldn't solve this problem. You still have them juggling their time and expertise, but time. So hence I kind of pivoted slightly from that. And you now got to get the benefits of fractional strategy, fractional leadership from my end. But I have a team that executes as well. And obviously AI is helping too, but like really saying we can go much faster like this. And that's what I've been trying to solve for. And that's why I think maybe call it a gap in the market, but you don't have now the overheads of getting lots of little freelancers everywhere, which is also a solution if you know you have a pinpoint problem, or someone's got to manage it. And if you're a founder that's scaling, just don't have time to be managing multiple and briefing multiple external people. If you then doing an agency, you end up same problem. They're quite expensive, but they're briefing of them and telling what's happening. So that's why I also try to set us a little bit closer to the founder and to that problem that they're trying to solve.
What businesses do you enjoy working with the most?
All businesses that I work with, I love. I think a combination where I can get really passionate about the product. I see the problem that you're solving. I think it's so worthwhile. So I guess the mission of the business where that goes. And then I would say when there is a founder or a commercial leader, but founder that has a vision, but commercial leader that is really thinking together with you. Because actually, whilst you can take a lot, but you have to be able to work together to get their sales teams as well aligned with your marketing plans. It can't be just marketing doing this and going on their own. I'm fine executing, but someone who is passionate about linking it all up and making work. So I think it's the right people in the company, and bonus is that they have a mission that they are like, this problem needs to be solved.
With startups, what are the biggest challenges they face when it comes to marketing?
I think it's early stage startups, when you're starting out, I think I get two questions a lot. And I think I was last night somewhere and I got asked both. So I know I like on a weekly basis now, increasingly so, is when I build a marketing team, what should that look like? And then second question that I get is, where should I invest? Where should I start? What channels do I pick? And those are the two questions you do need to answer as well. So without that, you can't really get started.
With startups, have you seen one and people absolutely have no idea what they're actually doing, and you've had to kind of help them and make a clear structure for them on their marketing? How does the process look for that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say didn't know what they were doing at all, but I think there is founders. I keep saying founders, but could be commercial leaders too. But ones that they're interested and they kind of know things. Sometimes that's a good and bad thing. Sometimes it's knowing things that once you've not tried it, it's easy to say, oh, it doesn't work this way. And you're like, not quite. But equally are passionate about it. So that's great. And then there's the ones that say, I know nothing, please tell me. So I guess there's two types. And yeah, I don't think either is a bad way to be. So the process really is to still do the same process for me, which sounds really obvious and boring, but it's actually very pivotal, is to go, who are you trying to sell to? And okay, well, why is this pain? What is this pain that they're having?
Yeah.
But then where do they spend time? Who do they trust?
Yeah.
And how do you get in front of them? Like, that's just the process that like we answer all the time and then we execute on it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change. It's just what changes on the process, I guess, is, and both require educating. It's like, why are we choosing these channels? Why do we think this hypothesis is the best one? Because in marketing, these are bets, right? You don't know because there's no playbook you can copy paste from elsewhere and say 100% it will work.
Yeah.
So you take all the knowledge that, in my case, I've gathered throughout the years and all the research I do all the time, to then saying, okay, what do we know about your buyer? Based on all this information, what is the best hypothesis we have on what would work? Then we take the bets. We say, we're going to put this much investment in it. This is what we think is going to work here. Did it work? Did it not? And then make sure that if it doesn't work, pivot fast enough to your next thing that you had on your list, or double down. If it's working, brilliant. Now we have something. Yeah. What else can we build?
When a lot of people hear marketing, they automatically assume just photos and videos just to post on social media. But I feel a lot of people don't understand the strategy side to it as well.
Yeah, and I think most people mix up marketing and advertising a lot. So that too. So everything is, promotion, promotion, promotion. But big part of marketing is building trust. It's finding partnerships and creating narratives. So it's not all social media posts and billboards, or whatever. So that's just part of it. That's one part. It's like, okay, but often it's about delivering a message.
Yeah.
And I sound like a broken record, but delivering a message in front of the right people. And ideally, especially nowadays, the advertising method it of course works in certain places, but it is wearing down, especially if you're not in big budgets, right?
Yeah.
You can't really do that full surround, let's take all, over London buses type of thing. So if you're having to be more creative, then maybe the traditional advertising isn't the thing you are looking for. You are actually looking for, how do you build trust with the specific people, that you're wanting to work with, not the whole of London.
Yeah. And with startups, because I feel like it's mainly startups or people who are just starting a business, they think it's just photos and videos, just trying once and no strategy. What's actually the biggest misconception most startups have with marketing?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the side of we just need to advertise or post on a channel or do marketing that feels good. So I think do marketing that feels good for you is not the same as doing good marketing. So I think the downside and the struggle I sometimes have seen with founders, leaders, is that they say, I'm not seeing it, so it's not happening. Yeah. Or we're not posting on this channel that I think we should. So we do nothing. And you just go, that is not true. Obviously, a good marketing leader tries to create that transparency of explaining. You should always let your leadership team know what's actually going on. But I have heard example that where a board member has been saying, well, I don't see the marketing. Well, I Google something and you're not coming up. And they're like, well, yes, we don't want you to. But marketing team ends up paying for an ad somewhere where the board member sees it all the time just to appease.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest thing, where you just go you need to let marketing do the marketing. Or you hire the wrong people if you don't trust them.
Yeah.
Or maybe you need to review why your own side of things obviously might not be anything to do with them. But I think the misconception is, I don't see, it's not happening, or it's not where I think it should be. You should go back to the marketing team instead and ask understand the strategy and understand why the placements are what they are and why they're not where you think they should be, instead of making them jump a hoop that is just to please you and has nothing to do with acquiring customers.
What part of your job do you find to be the most rewarding to you?
Two things I would say. First one is results. I love a graph that goes up to the right, like seeing results and knowing that something's working. You can go sleep happy.
Yeah.
Another part is actually my team. And which is one reason I want to start on my own. And I don't think I would have wanted to remain fractional for a long period of time in the end, because I love working with my team. I love my big passion is also getting young people into work and giving them opportunities. So if I can combine those, of course, sometimes some things require expertise, and that's fine. That's then the case. But if it doesn't, then give some a chance. And seeing smart people, they don't. It's not about experience. It's about being smart, being self-starter, all these good qualities, and seeing them grow.
Yeah.
I mean,
With your team, because people hire you for marketing, they hire you for, when you hire people in your own business, as a marketing business, what sort of traits are you looking for in your employees?
curiosity. I think that's my top thing. It's like, if you can be curious about our clients' industries, our clients themselves, about marketing, about new AI tools coming out, new ways of doing things, that just covers so much ground.
Yes.
That if you have that, and then you have kind of the basic, you're a good person. When I say a good person, I mean a nice to work with. I'm really anti, working with people that are making everyone else miserable. Yeah, it doesn't matter how good you are. I'm not interested. Yeah, exactly. And it's nobody comes to work and has a good time. And I do think fostering a safe, safe environment so that everyone can bring in the craziest ideas. And even if they don't, but it should be okay to say, you know what, here's a crazy idea. And even if that's not what we go with,
at least they're good forward.
Exactly.
Nothing, right?
100%. And imagine some of them are, and you say, actually, let's refine that.
Yeah.
That's often the answer. It's not, hard no, but if everyone's sitting there in silence and all the ideas come from me,
yeah,
fine. But it's just not going to be as good as a whole host of people thinking how to solve the problem.
Yeah. I think in a room, to get the best idea, I think a room full of people bouncing ideas around with each other.
Yeah.
And then that's where you get the best ideas, actually. That's where they create that from. Because then you have so many perspectives coming into one. Well, you mentioned curiosity, which was actually quite interesting, because I think that kind of answers my next question, which is, how do you keep up with marketing?
Yeah. And I think it does answer the next question. I read a lot. Not necessarily. Well, I try to keep up with all the more traditional marketing channels, articles. I have created more of my LinkedIn profile to be those people who I think are doing interesting things.
Yeah.
So I think that's a top tip. Everyone says LinkedIn is getting really annoying. You can go and unfollow people and you can still be connected. So you don't have to burn bridges, but you don't have to see them on your feed either. So, but creating that slightly, I am a avid subscriber of Product Hunt, to making sure that whatever innovation is coming out, we test it. So me and my team, we take, I wouldn't say once a week, but there's no rule, but bringing a new tool and saying, oh, what's this? Yeah. And it could be just checking it out and reading about it. It doesn't have to be action immediately, but obviously more around, here's the things we think we should automate and we think AI at some point or now could solve. Can we find solutions? Or if we spot one, we're like, hey, this was on the list. Can we try if that works? So I try to try a lot of AI tools and then obviously find out what's happening in marketing. But also I've been very lucky to belong to a lot of groups of fractional marketers, and stay in touch with a lot of my old colleagues in the marketing world. So we catch up regularly and exchange notes. So you kind of go, has it been really hard recently to generate pipeline in this industry? Yeah. Okay. Do we think it's because of this? Are you also seeing it? Great. Now we have some trends that we can go, oh, why is that happening? How are you solving that? That's interesting. Can I learn anything from your way of doing it?
Yeah, because it changes so fast, marketing does. There's always new trends, there's always new ideas, new methods,
Yeah.
and new tools coming out, especially now. I think for the last 2 years, I agree, now and then every week there's just a new tool that does so and so.
Well, this is it. And you hear about them, and that's why I'm like, let's test it.
Yeah.
Let's test it fast and find out if we're going to carry on.
Yeah.
I've got so many subscriptions. I really struggle to remember to cancel them all, which is the problem. But aside from that side, there's going in and out quite fast. And I'm like, nope, okay. Or that ate all the credits so fast that, I can't afford to keep it. Cool though. Wait for that to come down.
What trends are you seeing right now in marketing?
I would minus taking away from the AI automation world right now, because I think everyone's expecting that. Yes, it's of course a trend. How can we automate everything on AI? And cool, we're trying that too. And not saying that. However, I think there is this opposite trend happening because of it. Is twofold. One is, how can we create more human connections?
Yeah.
So how do we balance this out? The noise, especially for smaller brands again. Like, you're in so much stronger position once you've met, once you've had that real, not a, Teams meeting, not a Google Meet, it's literally shaking hands.
Yeah.
And at that point, so can you create those moments with your target accounts and your target audiences? If you can, brilliant. Not scalable to an extent, but takes much more effort, but much better returns. On the other hand, B2B has really been introduced to influencer marketing recently.
Okay.
And this is a big movement, I think. I would nearly say to everyone, check if that's a valid channel for you. I'm not saying it is or isn't. Again, going back to what I've been saying around, figure out your audience first. Who do they trust, where they spend time, and who do they trust is also a channel. And that could be a person. So can you do collaboration with that person? Sometimes these are people you can pay to post about you. Sometimes these are, you have to work a little bit harder to build a relationship and get to, work with them. Or they could be institutions as well. But how can you find ways to, scale trust?
Yeah.
And get that referral? So a lot of companies come to me saying, oh, the way I get business right now is referrals, or people talk about me in these WhatsApp channels or so on. Brilliant. But that's not scalable on its own. Yeah. So methods of influencer marketing are actually scalable. Can we take the same principles of what is working for you already and make it bigger? So that's one way. I think those are the top trends that I'd keep an eye out for.
What's one marketing trend people are wasting too much time on?
I hesitate to name any because I think, again, going back to it depends on your company and depends on your buyer. I do think it depends where you are. So if nobody knows about you, well, and you've got a new category defining product, then, maybe don't first prioritize your SEO or your Google search ads. Not say you don't, but if you have limited amount, you actually need to get actively in front of people, not wait for them to search for a problem that you are introducing in a new category that they didn't know exists. I think people can easily go, well, I think we should do Google. And you're like, but why? Yeah. So really goes back to saying, why are we just saying things that people say, I've heard we should be on Reddit. Okay. But for sure, but depends if your buyers are there or what is the end game of that. So all goes back to, who is your buyer? Where do they spend time? Who do they trust? And then you pick. But it's easy to pick those that feel like everyone should be doing SEO. Yeah. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but if you only have limited resource, limited budget, is that what you should be prioritizing, or you should be building your brand and getting it in front actively or passively? And of course, over time, you should be building both. Yeah.
So do you think SEO isn't doing as great as online marketing, just getting in front of people?
I think it's what your objective is, right? So if nobody has heard of you, and nobody, like, you are creating a new category. And obviously it's an extreme situation, but just to be like very clear, I guess, then if you had to spend your like budget and resource and time on something, is this the best way you could spend your time? Or is it actively trying to find a way to place things in front of your audience instead of wait them to come to you by searching for all the things? It's not to say you shouldn't go with that or build it. I think there's SEO is just an example of it in this case, but SEO can be built by, once you create content, do it well, do it within, like, look at the SEO guidelines, do it to that. So you're continuously building it, but you don't have to have a SEO project every time when you're small and when you start out. Later on, of course, optimizations, everything.
What strategy works very well for you right now for marketing?
Influencers. Yeah, that's been very strong. And like multiple clients have seen successes from that. It's just, and also your usual podcasts, is how do you get founders in front of the people with, like, instead of just advertising slogans, is that kind of like, how can you get a little bit closer? And not everything means in person, even though in person actually does work really well. And I think it's the mix of scale and then in person. So try and balance this out. But yeah, I think if I had to name one, but again, every client I have is very different. So they don't all get the same playbook and not everything's going to work for everybody.
Do you think businesses focus too much on social media?
I think not necessarily, but it depends how they focus on them. So founder-led and your employee-led social is super strong. But I think it's easy to say, let's do social and nothing else. And again, it could be that if you dotted that with in person, so you don't go only, like, again, depending what you're selling. But I think it depends what works for you. You kind of want to pick early stage again. Those kind of like 1, 2, 3 channels that you invest in, like those hypotheses that you want to run, and bets that you want to take, and then come off it if it doesn't work. So I think social is high up there for things that do work often. So I wouldn't go calling it out. No.
I think if I'm correct, on your LinkedIn profile, on one of your services, is demand generation on there?
Yeah.
What does the term demand generation actually mean?
Yeah, so this a fun one, but so I feel like we've gone through phases for demand generation. We called it growth marketing before, we called it demand generation. So in my world, it's one and the same often, but a favorite child has multiple names, or whatever the saying is. So, but in this case, from my perspective, demand generation is very much on, and there is a broader context to it, of course, as well, and every company slightly can edit what they believe that would be, but is that kind of like, how do we get you in front of the right people in the right place with the right message and where they sit? So saying, okay, here we need to educate about this new industry, the thing we're doing. But in this piece, we will actually talk about our product. And, that will be the when people go, oh, okay, it solves my problem that I now know I have because we educated them. It's not necessarily a funnel anymore. We used to see it as a funnel historically. And that's where everyone's like, oh, let's put them in a nudge track that goes educational 2 emails. And then we send 2 emails about the product and suddenly they're ready to buy. We now know that doesn't work that way. People are self-educating. There are different points in the journey. Some people are like, I know I'm in pain. I have this problem. I'm just looking for solutions. Brilliant. Well, in demand generation's job is to say, how do we catch those people that know that they're in pain? And how do we get them the right message to say, oh, here's your solution. Brilliant. Come this way. Or if we say, here's a bunch of people that didn't realize this was a problem until we tell them. So what are the avenues and ways we are going to tell them, do you know that you have a problem and this is what's causing? And they go, oh my God, okay, what do I need to do? and get them to next. So building that kind of like information network for the right people, and definitely to the right people is the specifically the point. It is demand generation's job. And then obviously turn into pipeline, working with sales to make sure that this turns into actual money.
Yeah.
And that's the important part. Can't just be educating. There needs to be an end goal of this company, needs to get some pipeline of revenue.
Yeah. What makes it different from lead generation?
Lead generation is more, again, in the same family. I would call this a slightly old term. Probably when I started out, we would call this, there was no demand generation. It was all lead generation. And but really it's about gating things, generating a bigger database for yourself. Now that's fine, and leads are important to us, and they are, but I think they are much more important when we are looking at the people who are looking to solve their problem.
Yeah.
Instead of people who are being educated. And I think we may pay much more attention now, and I'm so glad we are, to the experience of the buyer. So we now want the buyer to have a really good experience with us. So we say, here's 3 things for you to educate yourself, because now we're creating trust. And now we know that because we've been giving you all this information and you've been like, oh, I always go to this place to find out what's happening. When they actually either have the budget, the approval to go and buy a product or whatever, they say, oh, let me go to that company first that I've been trusting this long, I keep hearing about from everybody. So you now spend that time creating that trust. So not lead generation, won't see any leads, but you kind of monitoring as best you can with the tools you have. They're still not cracked, and I'm not sure we should crack it, by the way, but we can't see everyone who engages. Yeah. But you have to do the best you can do on targeting to make sure that you're getting in front of the right people, right? But lead generation is very much how can we get your email address? And that has time and place for sure. And then we can be great on communications, but it's usually now much more time and place. Yeah. Not the only way we do it. Before we would be like, here's something, but you can't read it. Yeah. And now we are like, you can read it. We can just give you the information because that makes us look really good and you to trust us. So that's already a transaction we're doing.
That's it. So why is demand generation so important for startup businesses?
So really, you can have a brilliant product, but if nobody's heard about it, well, you have a problem. And sure, you can say we are doing that by the founder going door to door, or we have now a sales team calling people up and outbounding. Brilliant. That all works. I am not disputing any of that. However, to scale, to get to the next level, if you're hiring outbound, or even now you can automate it, of course, a lot, but you're not finding proof, I guess, in the world that, what is this company doing? So people are not self-nurturing. So demand gen at the top of the funnel, we probably shouldn't use the word funnel anymore, but at the top of the journey is about helping people self-educate themselves. So you're not doing that for them. Yeah. They're doing themselves. So you now have this huge nurture program that people just come in as they're ready. Yeah. Instead of your reps or your automations, that's what you're going with, are not getting people at the right time. So this is kind of the always on. And this is one, oh, hello, they need it now. Great, let's buy it. Sure, that it absolutely works, but it's not sustainable and scalable.
What are businesses getting wrong when trying to generate leads?
End goal, I think, is the wrong thing. That's not what you want. You're not trying to generate leads. You're trying to generate business. Yeah. And focusing on leads instead of focusing on how do we generate business is already where you've gone wrong, because you're looking at, because marketing's been historically, and this was a pet peeve of mine, but I was just starting out, where it was just like, we've got 100 leads. And how many of that was turning into any business or had any interest or was the right buying profile? 3. Yeah. And you just go, that's actually not a bad conversion rate, but hypothetically, you just go, Well, why do we do that? So is there better ways to generate business? And this is where marketing always needs to, that's what you like as a founder should be very honed in on, like, is marketing's objectives, are they the same objectives as your sales teams, as your leadership teams, as your product teams? Like, is it aligned, or is marketing saying, oh, well done, we generated some leads? And if you're asking them to do that, that's what you're going to get. That is your fault, but don't ask them for things, ask them for then qualified meetings. And and then they're going to start figuring out, well, we're not going to spend money here. We're actually going to, I don't know, help the sales team actually speak to clients. And maybe that looks like more like, I don't know, helping sales versus the traditional marketing. But if you're getting business results, that's where you want to be focused on.
100%. So what does a good demand generation strategy look like?
Absolutely broken record here. Good demand generation strategy looks like understanding your customer or your prospect, understanding why are they in pain? Are they in pain? And then what is the pain? And how do you get in front of them the right message and their right journey point? So they might be not knowing that they're in pain. Okay, that's a journey point. So how do we address that? It could be, oh, I'm looking for a solution. Well, how do we address that? And where are they looking? And then understanding where would they go to look, or where are they spending time and consuming things actively?
Yeah.
And then matching those up, saying like, oh, this message goes here, and this is the content or assets or whatever that we'll host in the right places to educate or convert them.
Yeah.
And mapping that all out to be focused on your customer, your buyer. And this is why I think the big mistake would be to say, oh, we're going to just take someone else's playbook. So when you look at other companies doing things, don't just take exactly what they're doing, even if it's a playbook publicly on the internet, like brilliant. And this is why I think also AI is amazing, but this is where there is some issues, is that it can create a great strategy for you.
Yeah.
And over time, I'm sure this gets better, so don't hold me to this too long. But currently, it's a great strategy for a general piece that it's learned from somewhere else. It's not got that angle. And of course, you can argue that you can feed into right information, and I'm sure we'll get there.
Yeah.
But right now, it's very much about you need to know your product and your buyer, and how does that match?
Yeah, AI, I feel like people, they don't realize it's not tailored.
Yeah.
They try to, when they're using AI, they're not understanding that it's not tailored to them. It's just a generic answer they're getting from it.
Yeah, and obviously you can tailor it, right? You can use like, absolutely.
It's like speaking, it's like having a conversation. At that point, it's like having a conversation with like humans. Because then you have to like explain everything. You have to tell you everything about your business, everything.
Yeah,
I might be wrong, but that's how I see it.
You can't just go and get a marketing strategy. Of course, if you now educated your own instance and everything else, it's probably a very good suggestion.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to doing that very well then. And I think most companies and most people are not there yet. Yeah. But we will be. But really making sure that all these, you understand everything and how the journey would work and why you'd match certain things.
Yeah.
And that's a good strategy, is the one that fits your buyer and your product and the problem that you're solving, and nobody else's.
So what's the biggest mistake founders make with their marketing?
Well, aside from what I just said, I would say there is this way of hiring one marketer, expecting the world. So when you are at the point you're saying, like, oh, marketing, let's do it. Like, properly hire, invest in it. Brilliant. Hiring one person to do everything and expecting them to be able to is a common mistake I see. Very, very common. And I can tell you that most people call me at the 6 month point and say, I don't think our marketer is very good. And I go, I actually think they are.
Yeah.
But you're asking them to do
too much
technical reporting, analytics, but also be the most creative selves they can be, but also do the strategy, do the execution, and not drop the ball on any of these. So this is like 4 things already that you have to focus on. No human is going to be able to multitask through that. And sure, maybe there is one, but like, you hired this unicorn, and in theory they can do it. They've done it before. They're able to. It's just their brain capacity, balance, managing internally, managing externally. I think one thing that's often overlooked in marketing, and especially the demand generation side of things, because we manage so many external projects and external partnerships, is that it's very admin heavy. So if someone's trying to be the most creative selves, they are trying to order some chairs for an event, and and also figure out what the branding banner should look like, but also do the reporting, and also explain to this sales team what they need to do next. But also there is this management of these influencers and getting the invoices routed correctly. Imagine that's the week.
Yeah, that's
how can you expect it to be the most creative thing that you've ever seen?
No,
so I think the big challenge, especially early hiring, is to expect this person to be a full marketing team when marketing team is unlikely that they will be successful. So I guess my question would be, how are you setting up your marketing for success? And what are the prior things that they need to spend their time on doing? And often that is, what are the things we need someone to do in-house really well? So understand our customer very well.
Yeah.
Spend time with them so that, again, understand them, understand the product, and understand the CEO's vision and mission. If you can understand these, then you can turn that into content and say, these are the messages, this is what's going to work, and manage internally the relationships to make sure that, you have trust with the sales team, you have trust with the leadership team, and you communicate what marketing does. Well, that's plenty for an internal person. But actually, the rest you could make external. And that's really why I started Oinus, is for that. Like, you focus on this. This is, I think, the perfect role for internal if you have one headcount. But you don't want to hire headcount too early either, especially in a scaling startup. You don't know what skills you need. Because you've not tried all the channels yet. You don't know what works for you yet. So if you go now and get a video editor, you say, oh, later you need someone who is good at Reddit and have conversations there. You're like, well, now I need to hire fire. Like, that's just not, it's just not a good way to do it. And also very expensive in the end, right? So you kind of want to launch first, get marketing properly off the ground, and fit it all to, okay, this is working for us. And now if you want to, as you become bigger, let's get all the right people in permanently to do these things internally. Absolutely. But that's why we want to be the stopgap of, let's find these together while you still have this amazing brand. Because one thing that is overlooked and is becoming very important in the world of AI and AI sloth and all that noise, and is your brand. So focus on that and let us help with the distribution part.
Is there like a part where people are spending too much money on?
If it's just the wrong thing, I think you can spend a lot of money on the wrong thing. And I think you can spend a lot of money on vanity. You can spend a lot of money on things that feel like you should be doing, but don't move the needle for your pipeline or your revenue. And you can end up doing those quite easily. And I think a lot of marketers end up doing those under pressure from leadership, if I'm honest. So I think as a leader, you are responsible for making sure that your team is equipped to say, this is where we should spend, and this is the business objective of it. And have a honest discussion on why not. Bring your ideas to the table. I think founder ideas are brilliant. They often know deeply. However, if it's their way or highway, then you can end up doing a lot of things like that feel like you're doing a lot. But if you looked at the numbers,
Results,
you just go, well, was that the right place to invest? But I think it's just wrong things. I don't think you can, there's one thing that is for everybody that you end up in the wrong places.
Do you feel like there's like a specific part where they put too much money in a specific area of marketing? Maybe behind ads, maybe behind
No, because again, I would hesitate to answer that, just because I guess it depends what the plan is and how does that work. You could argue that could be on like conferences and swag, but at the same time, for some companies that I've seen it really work, and other ones that's absolutely waste of money.
Yeah.
So like I've seen the same thing be the best thing for other and the worst thing for another. So there is not really one universal, don't ever spend money on this or don't put too much in it.
That's the thing. I mean, because the reason I ask as well, because on social media, like sometimes when I come across people, let's say marketing experts, they would just say to everyone, you spend too much money here. They won't really give much of an explanation, and the answer you give, which is like for some people it works, there's some people just start saying, no, this doesn't work. Actually, it doesn't work. Don't spend money. That's kind of why I was asking.
Yeah.
For some people it's like that, but what about, do you think there's a specific part where people don't spend enough money on it?
Yes. I would say something that is easily overlooked is, and funny enough, not the area that like, I'm trying to even sell but it's content.
Okay.
Is actually.
Do you think people are not spending enough money on it?
Often, yeah. And I am very much talking about like early stage startups, but it's something that is, because it's not pure ROI. And I'm very much on, reporting ROI, making sure that we're driving pipeline, we're driving revenue, and content is very hard to prove. Yeah. There's multiple attempts of it, and there's all kinds of reporting tools that try to do that. Absolutely. But in the end, it's really hard to say we should do more of that. Yeah. But I do think good founders, good commercial team leaders, they do know that that's the gateway. You can't nail your distribution and then there be nothing at the end of it. That's the thing. You can get in front of the right people and then your message can be really good and then they get nothing.
Yeah.
So like investing in that and making it good quality is hard because it's also more expensive than people expect it to be. I think that's always a shock. People think it's not going to be that expensive or we can just, but it's one that I think is slightly underinvested in.
Yeah. What separates businesses that grow quickly from those that struggle?
Honestly, product market fit. And I would say whether you built your product to fit a problem that already exists, or if you build a cool product and then wondering who has this problem. There's a huge difference. And it sounds very harsh. Not that the other ones can't find their footing. It's just you need to find the footing and then you can go fast. You're just not going to go that fast without finding it. Yeah. And a lot of startups, they don't, start as the solution that they end up as being very successful for. So I'm not saying don't start, don't do anything, but you need to keep learning and pivoting on the way to find that footing. And then you can expect the scale coming from once you found it. So I don't think there's any trickery to that. Of course, then it comes to investment, the bravery of the founders. Something that I see outside of that is making startups successful is founders that are invested in being externally facing and telling their story in a very good manner. That's very helpful for marketing. Not the only way. Yeah. You can also plow a lot of money into marketing, very, very successful. Brilliant. Works too. But I would say differentiators that really give you the leg up is a founder that is able to be on stage, and wants to be helping be part of the marketing of your own product and company instead of saying, well, I don't want to be here. Just sort it for me, or begrudgingly you have to beg them to be on things. So it's extra hard.
At what stage should the startup start investing in marketing?
Well, it depends what you mean by investing, because I think from day one you need to be investing resource, and that might mean you.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit cheeky answer there, but investing money wise, again, once you have your product market fit, like it depends what your go-to-market is slightly. So you have your VC backed one, so you have money before you have profitability. But if you're not, then don't cannibalize yourself, but you do need to start investing resource then. So you have the option of resource or money, ideally both. Yeah. But the more resource you can put towards something, the less money you need to use if the more money you have to spend, ideally you put the same resource and go extra fast.
Yeah.
But you can get away with less resource.
Yeah.
Because if you can create your own content, if you can get on things, if the founder is posting, if you can get the whole team posting, that's like a brilliant one. Where if everyone who works for you and with you is talking about it and being excited about the product and, evangelizing it, well, your ads can run on those, and that's so much cheaper than marketing trying to create compelling ads where no real human is involved from the product side.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say as soon as you can, but what does that look like and how much is a different thing. I don't think if you have your £1,000 to spend, pocket your £1,000, to be honest. If that's your cap, there's no point doing anything with it. That's too small.
Yeah.
Again, depending what you do. Like if you are a local business and you're putting out flyers, sure. I think I'm always talking about B2B tech companies. And if you're going to get the bigger player levels, like go and do something else with your time, or invest in a nice mic and ring light and do some videos. If that's how you're going to spend your £1,000, but you're not going to advertise with it.
Yeah.
It's gone in a day.
Can a good product without marketing make money or profit?
Yes, but it probably is like a leaky bucket where you have things coming in, but equally your clients are exiting as fast as they came in. So that's going to be your issue. So yes, but I would say don't do it. Fix your bucket.
I'm guessing bad products that do marketing well, they probably make more money than a good product with no marketing.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's really upsetting and sad because people come up with really, really good products and they don't invest in marketing. And that's the challenge where you say, I think people will just find us because this is so good. We've cracked it. And then nothing.
Yeah.
And it's the kind of like, oh, especially with all love, but a lot of engineering products where the belief that, okay, we don't really believe in marketing. I get it, but nobody's making you do advertising. Like marketing looks at so many different things. And I think it's always the kind of like expectation of what marketing is very narrow from outside.
Yeah.
But I've run from everything from, you have your community things, but you also have like hackathons if you're an engineer, but you also have you can partner up with the chartered institutes, for example, and have them, you be part of their coursework. And now people are actually going through your content as they are becoming your future client. These are all marketing, but they don't look what you think they look like. And so don't underestimate what marketing is, but also don't say, I don't think we need to do marketing. You need to somehow get in front of the people. There's no question about that. And you've already defined demand generation.
Yeah. I want to ask you some questions about AI and the future. Obviously, 10 years ago, AI wasn't as advanced as it is now. It wasn't talked about or used as much as it is now as well. It's everywhere right now. How has it changed marketing for the future?
Oh, massively. First in a bad way, because it's made things not thought through. So there's a lot of, everyone's heard of AI slop, right?
Yeah.
So you'll see more of that. The noise levels are just going up because everyone's just, everywhere. But is it that efficient?
Yeah.
However, on a positive note as well, we can operate with creative teams and curious teams much more lean ways. More startups can get good quality marketing and execution and delivery of that at scale earlier stage. They don't have to invest so much in it, so it makes them leaner, makes more cool products and amazing and critical products able to get out there in front of people at a fraction of the cost, so they have to have a real chance of competing.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see a variety of things. We'll see good and bad things, but so I think it gives people an opportunity and companies an opportunity if they can break through the noise though, because that's going to be the challenge now. It's going to be so noisy. What are you going to do different? And if you just put it to your AI automations that are the playbooks from somewhere else, you all look and sound the same.
Exactly.
So how are you going to balance that becomes...
It's going to be hard to be unique, isn't it?
It's very hard. But it's always been the struggle. I think this is just a new toolkit.
Yeah.
Because it's always been the question of how do you stand out? How do you... Now just I think more people or more companies have the opportunity to do that, which is great in my opinion.
Yeah.
And for the record, I'm a big fan of AI. I use it every day in one shape or form. I'm testing out, and actually what it really is helping with is, like I said before, demand gen is a lot of admin work that just is not seen.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane amount of paperwork, invoices, and don't even
for admin work, isn't it?
But exactly. So if we can get rid of that, like nobody needs that. Nobody's going to be like, oh, damn it, I wanted to keep that, right?
Yeah.
So if we can get rid of that and like other just tasks, can we get now people and marketers to think about the buyers more? Can we get them to think about how do we stand out? How do we make this the best possible experience and journey for our buyers so that they really want to buy our products? Now we can think instead of just say, oh, I don't have time. I need to segment this list and then I need to get this and optimize that. And, you have the bigger picture and you can step back and say, are we doing the right things? Are we running the right experiments? Like you can have a more intelligent human conversations.
Yeah.
Once AI is taking a lot of the front work. So I think it's going to be really exciting times, but I think we'll go through a curve of like absolute noise and slop, which we are probably hitting about now and in a bit.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of balance out where we are like, okay.
Yeah.
Smart teams do it different.
Yeah. So how do you actually use AI in your business?
So we are experimenting on a weekly basis with different AI tools. I would not say we've cracked it. But I am trying to get off the admin work, off the kind of like little task of chasing. Reporting is something that I'm really trying to crack. Still a bit unstable. But yeah, like I think currently it's a phase of experimentation, obviously using it to, help do research, but combine that with still, I don't think traditional methods, but traditional methods being like, oh, can we call someone in that country to find out if this is actually the trend versus just like, I guess Claude said so. So balancing this, but also just like documenting something that is not fun. It's like, okay, here's all the documentation of the processes. But if you can chat to AI and just have them put up in a nice format and it communicates very clearly to somebody else, brilliant. Because everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't use AI to communicate. But I'm like, to a certain extent, depending what you're doing. And I definitely don't like the ones that are, I can read that as AI.
Yeah.
However, train it on your voice. And then if it makes you just say things clear so that the whole point of communication is that the person who received your communication understood what you meant and could action or work on that or respond appropriately. Okay. So if it helps you on that one, instead of being all over the place, then brilliant. Use it to help you communicate better.
Yeah.
So little things, but I'm hoping that we'll be half team, half machine at some point, but always have the quality control in place.
Do you think AI will take over marketers?
To some point, yes, to some extent. I think it will take all the grunt work out, and I think it will take out the like optimizations and stuff. But I think always you should have someone overview and know enough to understand what it's doing. I don't think AI should be overseen by people who don't know what it does and how it does it, and also what good looks like. Because otherwise you're like, oh yeah, we changed this bid on this to that, and you're like, sure. But you kind of begin to be like, that's interesting. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You need to be able to question the decisions of AI.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it will massively take over. And then you have a lean team of, the people who bring the human elements into it.
Yeah.
But not all of it can be done. And not at least anytime soon. Sure, we'll get the robots soon and they can do all the physical stuff. And I'm sure there's a future that I don't want to try and predict right now, but
I actually used to train robots.
oh, did you?
Yeah, this was about a year and a half ago.
Oh,
So I was it was a office in central London, and we was training the robots. It's crazy. You know, this is the first time I actually saw like a different scale of AI. I never thought I would see actually in the making in front of me, but it was crazy.
it's so interesting how AI has unlocked robotics, because robots were before like LLM, I guess, task oriented, and being like this, these are the parameters. I will go here, here, and do this. And if that broke for them, they can't figure it out. With AI, now they can be much more like in environments that are not so clear, like warehouses and stuff like that. Which before it was like, yeah, you can move from here to here, but like, you know, unload and do different things with different, you know. I think for me, I've worked in AI companies and I've seen how AI has evolved throughout before it became accessible like this.
Yeah.
And so I understood what we were accessing, I guess, which is, again, why I love working in tech. My next passion is I'm really hoping to work with a robotics company at some point. That is my like next career goal for myself, is to like, get to experience and see robotics evolve. Because before they are roaming, well, they are roaming, but like to a...
Before you just see them everywhere in London and stuff.
Right. I kind of I want to be somewhere where I can see what it is, how it works, everything. Yeah. So exciting. Don't get me started on robotics. I've been going to just seminars for robotics just to learn.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just like being like, oh, yeah, there's a robotics event. I'm like, I'll just go. I like for pure curiosity. Yeah. And I think this is where curiosity is.
You should take a trip to, I think, China.
Yeah.
I need to take a trip there. So the company I used to work with, they used to actually go to China for events as well. I unfortunately never got to go because I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
But everything they showed me looked so sick. Have you seen I don't know if you're a fan of Star Wars.
I am.
Do you remember R2-D2?
Yes, of course.
They had a machine that would just like that.
Ah.
I used to be a big fan of Star Wars. When they showed me that, I was like, we guys need to bring that here right now, because I'm gonna end up just going China myself.
Just go and fetch it. Exactly. It's like you can just bring it to the like airplane. I don't even to enter the country. Just like bring it here.
Yeah, exactly.
There.
But it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy where AI is. I want to ask you about like some guides and tips for business owners.
Mm-hmm.
When founders build a marketing function for the first time, how should they structure it, and what skills should they be looking for?
Yeah, so I think internally, when you are hiring that first hire, instead of looking at like, oh, can we find someone who can do everything we can ever think of, which you wouldn't ask from any other department, think about what are the things we need internally and what can we have externally, because there's not one person who can do it all. So figure out, if you know that there's one thing that you're going to do, obviously look for that skill set. Let's say you're like, assuming that you've done your research on your buyers, but you say, oh, we're going to do a YouTube channel. Well, then, yeah, sure. Look for someone who's got that level of skill sets, but actually you're looking for someone who can sit close to your customers, sit close to your product, your sales team, and your kind of vision and mission, so that you have like that full understanding of what are we building, why are we building it, and why is it compelling?
Yeah.
And understanding of like, and who are we building it for, and what is it about these people?
Yeah.
Or companies that you're selling to, and the distribution and all that, which is so time consuming. And selfishly, I say so because that's what obviously we supply. But for that reason, and to solve this exact problem, so very passionate about it, is get help for that. Why I would say be mindful of getting lots of freelancers and possibly agencies is because now this person becomes a briefing machine and not, again, spending time with your customers and your CEO and your product team. But they just become, oh, I'll write briefs and actually tell them what to do. And in the end, they just, it's nearly as quick as you would do it themselves. Okay, slightly exaggerated there. But if I was hiring my first person, I would take someone who's got content and product marketing background. Content probably is like the deliverable end result. So doesn't really matter what their CV looks like on either of those necessarily weighted, but as long as they can produce externally facing things and not just decks,
Yeah.
that's the level of understanding you want for your first internal hire. And then you can figure out the distribution with partners and stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you see founders getting wrong when it comes to marketing?
I would just say assuming and investing fast into the wrong places without spending time to understanding where you should be spending and where should be maybe not spending but investing, whether that's resource or money. It's not all about money, but it's to say, oh, because we want to do this, we're going to do this, instead of starting with your buyer. You want to start with your buyer and work your way back. And if they like something that you don't love, too bad. Like, I don't like webinars.
Yeah.
And webinars seem to work for some buyers, and we're doing webinars.
Yeah, that's it. If you already have one marketer in your team, but feel like they aren't really performing as well as you expected, what should be the next step?
Finding out what's on their plate. Because often, sure, there's bad hires, but often it's not your hire. It's the structure around them. Is they have too much on their plate. Your expectation is to them to be analytical and creative. Your expectation is to be executing every day, but at the same time having really strategic conversations and driving the pipeline and the business. No single person can do all of this to a standard, right? Something will slip and then you're going to be unhappy. So I often come in and founders say, oh, we have one marketer, but they're not doing a very good job, so I don't know if we're going to keep them. And I think that's not the marketer. That is the fact that you're wondering why they are trying to sort out this invoice here, trying to come up with a creative campaign here, doing the analytic reporting, also going to prepping for the board meeting. Also, that's just so much. So I would audit their calendar for a week, but like maybe for like over 4 weeks, just so you can see the bigger picture. But being like, what does their time go into? Like, does it? And then you find out that, one day that was by, figuring out with finance on like, how to get this invoice into this with this vendor.
Yeah.
Other one was ordering these chairs, but actually, and getting these things live, but waiting for here. And then you're like, once you spell it out, you can see, did you want them to spend their time on this way? Is this the best way to use their talent? And is this what their talent is as well? Or do they end up spending a lot of time on something that they're not inherently good at, or, but they can stretch to? So a lot of people can, let's say they're a creative person, but they end up doing reporting. I mean, it's not that they can't do it. Yeah. I'm not putting them down and saying like they can't get to it, but it's just, it takes you double the time to somebody who would be excited, interested, or like has a formula to do it before. Like they can figure it out, but like, it's just going to take them really long. Yeah. And now they're every time taking quite a long time here. Is this how you want to balance it out? So audit what they do and then say, what should they really be doing? And my vote would be very much understanding your business and making sure that your brand and your messaging and all of that is communicating to the right audience, the right things, and distribution you can get help with.
Right. So to kind of end it off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions.
All righty.
And you can keep it a bit brief, but let's get started for this. So, SEO or paid ads?
Paid ads. Because, again, working in B2B tech startups specifically, I don't pick a tactic, but if you're trying to get in front of the right people at the right time, this is a delivery mechanism that can be, launched, I guess, where SEO for me at those early stages, super important to put that groundwork in place. However, it doesn't usually, it's a long-term play. And often we're looking for getting off the ground first, and then we can have that long-term play.
Brand or performance marketing?
Brand, weirdly. Brand comes before, and again, I know you're doing this on purpose, but it's both, of course, is the answer. But you can do performance marketing, but if your brand is not there, that's going to be doubly hard. So I would say sort your brand out. and then build performance marketing on top of it.
Yeah, it sounds good. LinkedIn or email marketing?
LinkedIn. I think email's great, and I think it can be deployed in a really cool way. And some brands are doing it, and definitely something we are also doing. However, I think LinkedIn is, again, getting in front of fresh eyes and those people who might not know about you.
Quality or quantity of content? So
Quality, absolutely.
Quality.
Yeah.
That's you don't even need to explain that one, to be honest.
Great.
Yeah. Hire in-house or outsource?
In-house. To an extent, because somebody in-house needs to understand. But I would say in-house is higher risk. So think about when outsourcing is the right thing to be a stepping stone for your growth. But yeah, I would say you do want to have in-house in place in some shape or form.
Yeah. Biggest marketing myth?
Marketing's advertising only. Marketing's much more than advertising.
Yeah. One marketing tool you couldn't live without?
Oh, currently probably Claude.
Yeah. I knew that answer was I knew that answer was coming. So that's great. So we're bringing it to the end now. I'm gonna let you let people know where to find you and where they can contact you and where your business is as well.
Yeah. So I live on LinkedIn. I have my LinkedIn open, I would say, on my second screen at all times. Yeah. So please feel free to reach out to me on DMs, connect with me at any point you like. That's the best way to get in touch with me. But otherwise, you can check out oinus.co and you can find our website there. But LinkedIn works brilliantly.
That's great. Erika, thank you for joining me on this podcast today.
Thank you for having me. It's been great fun.
Thank you.